In this episode, we met German blogger Sarah Ploss, who loves Sligo and wants to move here. She tells us about her very funny first night and how she made her connection to Sligo, her love of the Sligo music scene, and also tells us about her story of living with MS. This show is in partnership with ATU Sligo Innovation Centre, the hub of innovation and commercial enterprise for startups, industry and academia.
The Sligo Show is produced by Pixel Productions and hosted by Brendan Tierney. If you need video for your business or live event or would like to appear on the show, send us a message today.
We have a very different style of guest today. We normally have people who are living and working here in Sligo, but our guest tonight is a German blogger who visited Sligo a couple of years back and has fallen in love and now wants to move here. So hello to you, Sarah Ploss. You're welcome to the Sligo Show.
Thanks for having me.
You're very well. All the way from Hamburg, Germany.
Hamburg it is. Hamburg, yeah.
So obviously some people around town, you've been here a few times, they will know the face. What would you say turned your head to fall in love with Sligo so much? If you could give it its one selling point for people watching.
Lots of things, but if I have to choose, it was the night scene, the music. Yep.
Just that first night you arrived in. So take us back. You arrived in Sligo.
Yeah, by chance. I was not on purpose. I never heard of Sligo before. I was traveling the whole island many times, and I was on my way down to Galway from Donegal, and the drive was like too long, and I was like, okay, in the middle there's like this town called Sligo, never heard of it. Let's book an Airbnb there for one night, and that's how I came to Sligo the first time.
Like you've obviously, your background is obviously blogging, and we'll come back to that in a moment, but landed in Sligo. I mean, often we go into a strange town, you might sit quietly at the bar, have a drink, go home. So your story was a little bit different. So where was it you landed, and who did you make the connections with?
It was Lily's.
Okay.
It was a Sunday roast.
Yeah, you'll definitely have a good night when it's that.
And I think it was during the late summertime, so lots of people in there. Back in the days, Mally was still taking the pictures in the pubs.
Oh, Dave, yes,
and he also took a picture of my very first night ever in Sligo. I have that picture.
Framed.
Nice memory.
Yes.
And it was that first night I already met, like, I think it was Tony or Gracie, one of them who I call friends
this is
now.
Tony Travers and Gracie Fine, but Tony's well known for years as a musician on town and probably one of the happiest humans you'll ever meet in Sligo. So a great ambassador to meet on your first night. So you were here just that night. You moved on straight away.
Yes.
But just said, I have to come back.
I
have to come back. Okay, so we're going to come back to your whole love of Sligo in a few moments. But for anyone that doesn't know you, I mean, I've just met you through Tony and the guys, and I said you've been here many times. So you live in Hamburg in Germany.
Yeah.
And your job now is you're a self-employed blogger.
Yes.
And it's all tourism based, or how would you tell it? Or you kind of like to say more of a storytelling?
You can call it blogger or content creator or influencer. I don't like the term influencer because I realize people have a bad reputation when it comes to the term influencer.
Yes.
And I get where that comes from, but it's way more than just
getting
everything for free, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think they're suspicious sometimes, like, oh, it's an influencer, whereas like, no, I'm a storyteller, I'm a content creator.
Yeah,
and like going back to how you, like your career, you know, before being self-employed was obviously in the world of social media. Is that how your world started in there? Or what did you study, for example, in school and in college?
So I did my high school, the A-levels, I think it's A-levels, in psychology and education. And then I studied psychology and business psychology.
Okay.
And business psychology brought me like into marketing and how to do good marketing. And then I was like doing coaching in business context. And then I ended up in a huge fashion brand, and they were like the first in Germany who started doing all the influencer marketing. That time I got the experience for influencer marketing, and then I worked as a social media manager, and then I went to different agencies, fully employed, and did like the social media marketing and the influencer marketing for fashion and beauty brands.
Okay, so you were doing their content as such, or helping them manage their
contracts, strategy, yes.
Yeah, okay. And then, so that world ended. So when did that change to now doing what you're doing now? How did that whole...
Make a guess.
COVID, I'm guessing. Everyone, that moment So the work stopped, was it? Or you just said, I'm sick of it now? Or
it was due to COVID. I lost the job, and it was exactly what I wanted that time, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was also the perfect timing because at that time my grandma got like sick, and I had the chance to go back to my hometown, which is about 600 kilometers far from Hamburg, and to spend a lot of time with her and focus on my self-employment. And I can work from everywhere. So this was, I was lucky back then too.
Would you say, did she have an influence on your storytelling? Could she tell you stories? Or was that something you kind of liked?
Well, I can say it was her who brought me to Ireland first.
Okay.
Yeah.
She brought you over here, or she told you about it and that's why you wanted to come?
Nothing of it.
Oh, okay.
When I lost her, I wasn't able to feel anything for months.
Okay.
I was like a roboter,
Yeah.
and there was no grief, nothing. I wasn't crying, nothing, but she was the closest person to me ever. And after a few months, I really got suspicious. So, Sarah, what's going on? And I realized I need some time to work on that and to get away from my daily life, to get away from my from Hamburg. And during my studies, about 8 years before, I already thought about doing this Wild Atlantic Way road trip thing I heard of, but it didn't happen, and that came back to my mind, and I was like, okay, maybe the landscapes and all of it would, how I imagined Ireland to be, fits the mood I was in at that time, and I was like, okay, maybe that's the right time to go on a road trip on my own, to take my time out and to focus on the grief work. How do you say?
Okay.
Work on the grief.
Yep.
And this is what brought me to Ireland. And now I can say, when she passed away, I lost part of home. But it was
a reason to be attached to home, like, okay.
Yeah, kind of a home. And it was her who kind of brought me to Ireland and gave me another home instead of. And it was kind of her who brought me here.
Okay. And so that was COVID. And now I know, because we were talking earlier, you had another little incident during COVID as well. So what happened there?
I broke both of my legs the same time.
Same time?
Yeah. I went for a walk.
I was going to say, I thought it was going to be, I was skiing
I don't
or
have
parachuting.
I don't have a cool story. I tried to, how do you say, invent a nice story.
Yes.
But
okay.
I haven't till today. It's very boring.
Okay.
No alcohol involved, nothing. I wish
just
I
unluck,
would
bad
have
luck.
been drunk. Bad luck, yeah.
Bad luck.
I stumbled down the
couple of steps,
yes.
Okay. And at that point, had you started your career as I keep going back, self-employed blogging, because storytelling, let's call it, is
yes.
So that's when it kicked in. And did it start in Ireland? Did you come to Ireland and start getting an idea, I'd like to document this, and now that opens a world for me to do different things? Or what was the timeline, I suppose?
The timeline. How do you mean in detail?
So you obviously lost your grandmother and you came to Ireland. Had you started your story content creation business?
Yes, way before.
Okay,
yeah.
so now I'm just trying to get my own styling.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was there, but then you need to take a break.
Yeah.
Okay, and so following from COVID, are you as busy as you were pre-COVID, or are you choosing to be quieter, or how do you?
I'd say so. I do also lots of fashion content and all of that. That clearly reduced during the time because businesses were not spending that much money during that time. But it was good on the other side, because I had that incident with the legs, and I was, during the lockdowns, I was having lots of surgeries and spent all the time in the hospital, and it can get really boring and you can't get out of bed, do nothing, no visits allowed, nothing. So I was, okay, what I'm gonna do? And my main topic on social media back in that time was like mental health. And I did, out of the hospital, I did kind of a charity to my community. And I was collecting money to the biggest foundation against depression that time. And that was also kind of what helped me getting through all of that shit, because it can really be very bad.
Well, I can imagine, firstly, the grief, and then obviously this horrible injury.
I was in a wheelchair.
So not in a good place, I presume, mentally yourself as well. So then you said, let's focus that, channel that energy. Okay, very good. And where has obviously you were talking Ireland in a few moments, but you've been all over with this. Where is it taking you to?
Southeast Asia most of the times,
because
I really like it there, and I also spent a couple of months living there. I was living in Lisbon, and several, like all kind of Europe. Especially since COVID, I realized that we have so much to discover, like in front of our doorsteps. It does not need all the long distance flights. I'm not a big fan of them any longer. So
Okay. And were you being asked to go to these countries, or did you choose to go and then work followed?
both.
Bit of both. Okay,
Both,
bit of
yeah.
both. Okay, and how many times have you been to Ireland now?
8 or 9.
8 or 9. Okay, and obviously,
counting.
like, where have you travelled? Obviously, Sligo's your favourite, but have you done your Wild Atlantic Way trip?
Yeah, I've kind of been, when I look at my Google Maps and my saved places, I've been kind of everywhere when it comes to close to the coast.
Yeah. Okay,
My first trip was down Kerry, of course, and the Cove, Cork.
right around. Most Irish people haven't done this. Like,
Connemara.
we're terrible.
Yeah, that's what people keep telling me.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
seen a lot, yeah. And I'm
Well,
really
I mean, the good thing about
happy
Sligo
it.
is, I've only heard this recently, it is the nearest point on the Wild Atlantic Way to Dublin. So, yeah, it's the
It
closest
does
point
not feel
to
like
Dublin
that when you're
Airport.
all the time traveling from Dublin.
Yeah,
to
it mightn't have
Sligo.
the sexiest road to it,
No.
but it's the closest distance,
Is it?
closest point. So now there you go. So anyone watching from abroad, you land in Dublin, the nearest place to get in the Wild Atlantic Way, come to Sligo, Northwest.
Okay.
So I've seen some of your stories. Like you really shoot your footage in a different kind of way. It looks really professional, really classy, and it's mostly you have your camera and your phone, and then you edit and shoot it all. But as you said, you like to tell stories.
Aye.
So in Sligo, what would you say is, the best stories you've seen or you've enjoyed witnessing and telling? I mean, I know you've been in with Michael Quirk, who's the amazing.
I was just about
The
to
sculpture.
ask how much time we have. There's so many stories, and they all kind of happen out of the blue, and that's kind of the thing I really like in here, because most of the time I don't have any plans, but when I come home in the evening, I'm like, oh, I did this, I did that, I met that person, and she brought me there, and he brought me there, and he told me this, and it's like all those kind of conversations. In the beginning, it was like when you're coming from abroad, it's like, but once you're getting used to it,
Once you made friends, you always had someone to take you around and show you. And
Yeah,
there's
I
lots of
really
good coffee
enjoyed
shops in Sligo. I think you've discovered some of that as well. I think a lot of people in Sligo, we might tell people, oh, go to this or go to there, but we don't do it. And I know we had to walk around town the other day, but even to go into, there's Vinny, the gentleman who fixes the shoes in the back of the Swag Man.
It was a pleasure to introduce you to him.
Yeah, well, I had never met him. So this is the thing. Here's a foreign tourist introducing me to people. But I think even for us living here in Sligo, we probably don't realise. Just go in and see what he does, even if you're not using him necessarily. But he's a lovely man. It just looks like a spectacular little workshop, So I presume, have you any other little tales like that maybe us people in Sligo haven't witnessed, that from your perspective as a visitor have gone, how come everybody doesn't go there or do this? Would you say Michael Quirk, I would imagine?
That's yeah.
And he would welcome anyone in, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, tourist, I'll be really nice. I've been in there myself.
Pretty
and
sure.
He tells you so many stories. He's
Many stories. He's so
welcome.
kind. I even got to behind the...
Behind the counter. Yeah. And all of this is on your social media, which we'll share to people because, I mean, I think to witness the way you put these pieces together is very interesting. I think you've said before, your favourite thing about Sligo is the music.
Yes.
By far.
Yes.
By far.
I mean, I met lots of musicians in my life due to the traveling, but I've seen so many really talented musicians in here. It's like boom, and so many also doing their own stuff. I think, so the thing is, when you're coming from Germany as a woman in their 20s or 30s, you watch these movies like P.S. I Love You and blah, blah, blah. And then you walk into that pub and you imagine a guy sitting there doing all those singer-songwriter acoustic cover versions, blah, blah, blah. And it took me one night to find out that's exactly not what I want. I want the real stuff, or their own songs, or their own kind of style of
take on it,
music. And it was so such a huge gap between expectation and reality. And it turned out that reality is way better than what we see in the movies. Abroad.
I mean, I'm a blow-in as well, just to Sligo, and there are some gigs you go, oh, you have to see. You would tell people if you're in Sligo, you have to.
Especially like the trad music. I was really surprised about that.
Have you had, you've been here enough times now, would there be one gig or two gigs, that you go to tell people, go see that gig there? Have you anyone you always look forward to coming back to seeing?
Not that I have names to tell now. I do lots of names, of course. But what I would always recommend people when they are in Sligo is like McLuhan's The Trad.
Midlands, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that well? There's a few
Because
trad
it's so
sessions.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that was one of my faves. And of course, I like Lily's, Maeve's, and all of that, and all the musicians I know now.
But it's a huge thing in Sligo. Like, of all the towns you've travelled or cities, have you found anywhere like Sligo for the amount of music going on?
No.
Yeah, and I think we take this for granted. Like this,
You definitely do, and
Yeah.
sometimes that it's really challenging for me. 'Cause-
But you said to me when you're having a conversation with someone and they're all being nice and polite, you're like, well, I really want to see that.
sometimes it's really hard not to seem rude because I really want to enjoy the music. That's the reason why I come over, because we don't have that in Germany like that. And it's so special to me. I just want to sit at the counter having my pint of Guinness and listen to the music all night. And yeah, you sometimes I have the feeling you take that for granted
I think
because you can.
Yeah, because there's so much of it. You know, you can probably get 2 or 3 gigs every night, and there's about 60 or 100 varying weeks all year round. Like, so again, so as I said, if you were traveling the world and saying if you go to Sligo, you've got to check out the music. Where has been your favorite like natural beauty site? You know what I mean? Like your most. Again, I know it's going to be a list, but what would be your top 3 in Sligo? Again, I say this. Obviously, there'll be people watching this from wherever, but us here in Sligo probably haven't gone to some of these places. So where would you go as an outside view? Where would you think is, top 2 or 3 places?
Yeah, of course, the Ben Bulben.
Okay, you've gone to the top?
Not yet, it's on my list.
But just to look at it is enough.
It's on my list.
Yes,
I also found out that there's one road, you can go up the road and then you can walk for kilometers on the top. You don't have to do the hike. But
okay, we'll have to discover that.
I want to go for the hike, of course. Okay. Then, because the thing is, the first time when I came to Sligo, I was like, okay, maybe I want to live here one day, or at least I want to live somewhere where I can see Ben Bulben from.
Yes, quite a common theme with anyone that lives here. If they get to do it, it's one thing you'll hear people when they're buying a house, and you can see the Ben Bulben out the back. Like, so, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
so
I already noticed I'm not the only one.
No.
Then I really like Ross's Point.
Okay.
Because just of personal reasons, I have a nice connection to it, and I really like the hot box out there.
Oh, the sauna. Yeah, I haven't done that yet either. See, again, we're terrible. I know. I've looked at it many times and just haven't got to do it. Okay.
Really go for it.
And then, by the way, this is not sponsored. This is just chatting. Like we're not plugging out.
I wish it was.
Nobody owns Ben Bulben, so we're safe enough there.
And what I've been shown lately is the is it called Holywell?
The Holy Well.
Out at the lake.
Yep. Just out towards Carrow Road direction. Again, I've never gone there. So terrible.
One of the most peaceful places I've ever been to.
I've
It's
heard
like
this,
something special. I don't know. Yeah, I was really lucky to be shown through there.
It was after your leg break you were telling me before you had another health discovery. So can you tell us a bit more about that? You say it with a smile, God bless you, but not at the time.
It felt like a roller coaster for years. After the leg accident, and I had to learn how to walk again. A few months later, I got diagnosed out of the blue with multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
It was during Easter. I wanted to visit my parents, and I was doing the 6 hours drive home. And while the drive, I realized that I can't read the plate number of the car in front of me, and there were like dark spots everywhere. And it got worse and worse during only 3 or 4 days. And at the end of the 4th day, I was sitting at the dinner table with my parents, and like we do, and I could not see their faces.
Just out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Wow.
And I did not feel unhealthy or something. I was in a good condition, I thought so. And I was ringing the doctor. It was Easter Sunday. And he was like, well, a woman your age, those symptoms, directly go to emergency hospital.
Emergency department, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And not even 24 hours later, I had the diagnosis, which I'm really happy for, because people tend to look for the diagnosis for years, because it's not that easy.
I never discovered, okay.
Exactly, because the symptoms can be very different. Yeah. It can be losing the eyesight, like I did. It was for 6 weeks in total.
Yeah, so it's temporary. I mean, I've no idea. We hear of MS. I don't really understand as much as like some of other illnesses. But
I had no idea about it before at all. Yeah. So
6 weeks. Was it just poor vision or completely blind?
On the left eye, completely blind. So I was wearing like a pirate, this
the patch.
thing.
Yeah.
And no one could tell me that time if I will get it back. That was the most scariest thing. If someone would have told me that, okay, in 2 months you can see again, totally fine. But not knowing every day, will it get back? And I'm a photographer doing all this visual content stuff. Yeah. Losing the eyesight was very hard, very...
Okay. And for someone that doesn't, like, the daily life living with
Yeah.
MS, like
Yeah.
what's the regular symptoms, or is it just certain moments things can happen?
There are, I would not say regular symptoms. You can, or it is like your battery is never fully charged. You wake up and you have like 30% of battery. It's like that most of the time, which may sound weird because when someone looks at my life, I'm like always on the run, always moving. Because I'd say somehow I have a feeling I have to do all those things as long as I can. Because just in case, because every day can change now. That's what I've learned. And this is why I really want to be in the moment and do things whenever I can. Another symptom can be that you're not able to move your legs. You wake up and you're just not able to stand up, or you can't. Your eyes, your arms and hands get numb, and you can't really
function. And is there something you do? Do you have to go to the doctor then? Does it just pass with time? I mean, again, I'm just curious because I've never met someone and understood what exactly.
The thing is, I don't know how it is in Ireland. I'm kind of following several pages in Ireland now as well. But the thing is, it's called the disease with 1,000 faces because you can't compare one to another. Okay. It's always kind of different. And one doctor says, go for therapy, hit hard and early. And the next one says, as long as the activity is not that high, don't do medicine and all of that. And after a few months of living with it, I realized that in my daily life, I have all the time this fear in the back that tomorrow everything can change again. Yeah. And so for me, I decided to give it a try, the medicine. But they're kind of very different forms of MS.
Okay, so right now, in general, nothing's happening too often. Or you're managing it better.
I did my last checks, and the doctors were like, "Okay, right now there's no high activity. You can see it on the MRI scans.
It's all in the brain, obviously. Sorry for my ignorance, but that's it. Yeah,
the more people ask questions, because and know about it, the better.
That's why when you told me, I said I would love to just actually talk about it and just make a few people more aware. And again, somebody might have a symptom. They go, that could be MS,
neurological.
Okay.
Cost. You can see it in the brain. Like inflammations.
Right, and there's no way knowing that unless how you feel. Then they check, but they do regular checks. So can it be active but not affecting you?
Yes,
and they can flag it then to go. Oh, hold on, this is coming. You better do this or do that. Is that a simplistic way of putting it? Maybe. How do they tell? Like, how regular do you have to check?
I do the checks, for example, now for every 6 to 8 months.
Oh, okay.
Just to make sure if there's any kind of activity. Because if there would be a high level of activity, I would go for high medication.
Okay, so that determines the level. Okay, and you're always on medication?
There are so many researchers, and it's good that there is research. And the more people know about it, the more people talk about it. Because there are many, many people out there struggling with MS so far. But what was the question again? Sorry.
As in, are you on regular medication now to manage it, or do they determine up and down, as you said? So
regular.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a very interesting insight. Thanks for sharing that with us. Very much appreciated.
But I also have to say, when it comes back to the mental health topic we had before, if I wouldn't have gone to therapy in my life, I mean, it's ages ago, but I would not be able to deal with all of this shit. So, first step always.
Okay. So again, when a challenge hits home, you go, right, I have my skill set. Would you delve into the world of meditation, or is it just to thinking differently? I'm sure a lot of people have these moments. What have you found as a tool? Is there something practical you do? Or?
I don't have something practical. It was really the therapy.
Okay.
That helped me to,
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that with us. Very honest of you. The next steps are, well, obviously, you get out your burglar clothes. These are your emergency clothes. A funny story. Sarah she was supposed to go home on what, Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Storm. You can probably hear it in the background a little bit still. Stopped your flight. All your luggage was gone. So you're back here straight to good old Pennies, was it you said? You covered out. But so the next time you come over, you're back again in February.
Yes, wearing more colourful clothes.
Okay. So watch out for you. And you'll be around. And I think you're just really eager to start getting around Sligo more and more. And you said you went to the model today.
I did.
And see an exhibition up there.
I was so surprised about the exhibition. It was so cool. I did not inform myself before. I just went there and stumbled into that really nice exhibition about all those portraits of young kids and children. And also there's a huge painting in the entrance of a girl with Down syndrome, and the text next to it. It's so beautiful written, and one line, I can't get it out of my mind. She was saying, "I want people to first see me and my abilities and not my disabilities." And that moved me. And I was just sitting in front of that huge, really beautiful painting for like 10, 15 minutes, just staring at it. And I mean, we all know the world we're living in, but when it comes down to the basics like that, that's exactly what we should focus on. And I think that's the reason why I love being around in Sligo, because I can really feel very often kind of a sense of community and helping each other. And
the town is really growing a lot, and the county in that way. There's just a lot of good people in the right places and doing the right things.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, I'm here long enough now, but it's still kind of watch from afar. Sometimes going, that's great. There was the right people right there. And just I meant to say to you, like we say influencers and bloggers and all that. Like, it's not an easy job. It's not like shoveling concrete or dealing with patients, you know what I mean? But it's a different kind of, like, so a day for you, when you go head off and you go, right, like you've been hired by multiple companies all over the world, and Tourism Ireland have had you here asking you to showcase. And it is really worth watching your social media. We'll mention the name at the end, but and we'll share the links. But
I'm not good with compliments.
That's okay. You're getting more Irish by the day, so if you don't want a compliment.
Okay.
But I think to see the way you've shot and told and take a different angle of it. But like, if you were told, okay, you have to go to Sligo and do some videos of this, how many hours then would it take you to go, right, I'm doing a trail between shoot, edit? It's not like take 2 videos, it's hours and hours. So like you were saying earlier on, it can actually be quite a difficult job. And sometimes you've just taken a break and just come to Ireland for a rest, no shooting. But yeah, so what would a normal day be for when you're out on the job shooting?
That's very hard to answer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because no day looks like the other. For example, if you would tell me, Sarah, go to Michael Quirk and do a little promotion on your page. As I'm self-employed, I have my own rules. I would tell you that, okay, I go there, but I make my own experience. You can't tell me what I have to tell, because that's one of the reasons I left the agency and all of that, because I really want to make sure that everything that I tell is real and happened like I show it.
Okay, it wasn't set up.
That's very important to me.
Yes.
Like not faking anything. And also influencers get to know or in situations normal people don't get in. And that's what I don't like about it. Because I don't want to show people stuff that they can't experience or get by themselves. So I always want to make sure if people come to Sligo because they've seen Sligo in my stories or on my account, I want to make sure that they can have the same experience. Than
It's
I
not like
have.
a fake big event and all this free stuff.
Exactly.
And it's like,
so you could not give me a briefing.
Yeah.
And I think if you would walk into Michael Quirk and ask him about the lady who did the video of him, he would not know about it, because I always try to stay so much in the background and to be that subtle that people don't change their behavior. And that makes it easier to me to show real happenings and emotions. And all
I've
of
seen
that.
you've put the cameras in a quirky place sometimes that it's not in their face as much. Just and you're still getting the story.
And then I just hope that it works out. It
must be a big pressure as well. You've been paid, come in, shoot, go home for hours of editing, then produce it, and you know, like that. So there's that pressure on top of all of that, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's
like your brain is like 24/7 thinking in content.
Yeah, no matter where you go, I can't walk past that because that could be useful.
And especially, when you have clients paying for your content, you're always afraid that you don't get the right content, or the weather is like stormy-shire or something like that. It can be a high pressure. And I did it 4 years. And last time in November, I came to Ireland on purpose to do my first social detox ever. And to be honest, it was the best time ever. It was.
I mean, as you said, it's people might think, as you said, oh, this is a handy job. They get to go to all these fancy things. But even if they do go to a fancy thing, it's constant shoot, edit.
Exactly.
You're not actually relaxing too much. You know, maybe when you finish the shooting part, you might be able to relax. But even then, as I said, it's pressure, time pressure. So no, it's just interesting to talk to someone that has kind of done the job as high end as you have and to understand it. So for the next step, you're back home if the weather eases on Thursday, which obviously is not relevant to people watching, and you're back again. And have you any inclination of like, I'm just going to make a jump and move to Sligo and then see what happens? Or will you have to kind of get some plans? Who knows?
I'm constantly thinking about it. Right now, it feels like living in two places at the same time, and not 100% ready to make
full jump. Yes.
Yep, but if I could speak loud about my dreams, it would be running a B&B in County Sligo.
Oh, okay.
Just having guests, show them around, and try to show them the beauty I got to experience.
Oh, so like if you had your choice, stop the blogging, but just have this lovely thing that you
Or
are sharing.
both.
A bit
It's
of both,
just-
like, yeah.
The thing is, when my flight got cancelled, my community was like, well, that's a sign, Sarah. We don't want you back in Germany. We want you to stay in Ireland, to see Ireland through your lens.
Through your lens, yes.
Yes, yeah.
And you do get a lot of people from Germany talking about Sligo soon.
I do. I can tell. I could immediately open a travel business agency.
Yeah,
to,
and they would be coming.
Yes, that...
So watch
the
this
funny
space.
thing is, people keep telling me that also they never heard of Sligo before, because I have the feeling it's not that well promoted on the White Atlantic Way.
Well, it's maybe not one of the more obvious points, but it is definitely building and getting there. It's definitely becoming more popular. I think traditionally, for years and years, it was like the Kerry, you know what I mean, and that Galway.
Yeah.
But I think it's. But I know what you mean. But we'll get on it. We'll get on the case. We'll try and get him promoted as more as we can. Thanks for coming in. It was just accidental that you happened to be able to stay on. Lovely to meet you and hear your story. And again, anyone that's following or wants to follow your stories on Instagram, what's the handle if to follow? It's going to be the tricky one now, is it? Maybe we'll just put a link.
Yeah, you should do the link.
Großstadtklein.
Oh, you did well.
I did do German for a little bit,
yeah,
you know.
You did well.
But anyways, we'll put the links. But it is definitely worth following. And even there, talking, I think it would refresh a lot of Sligo people's minds to go, oh yeah, I haven't gone to that gig on the Tuesday. I haven't gone to the model. I know lots of people haven't gone to the model. I went once to see the collection, the artwork. And it's not my thing, but you will be taken aback, like, you know. And as you said, there's wonderful exhibitions that you might not think, I should go to this or not. But
especially that one, really. I had a look. It's till the beginning of March.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You're a one-stop promotional shop for Sligo. That's great. So look, thank you so much for coming in. No doubt we will see you back. You're back in a couple of months. So
I'm coming back for the comedy festival.
Oh, who's running the comedy festival? I wouldn't know anything about that. Well, listen, Sarah, pleasure to have you.
Thanks
safe
for having
home,
me.
and we will no doubt see you very, very soon in Sligo.
Thank you.
So that was Sarah Ploss, and we'll put the link up at Großstadtklein. If you don't know how to spell it, we will put the link up there. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back again soon with another episode, and we'll see you soon.
The Sligo Show is produced by Pixel Productions and hosted by Brendan Tierney. If you need video for your business or live event or would like to appear on the show, send us a message today.
So if you liked what you just seen, don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel here. We've loads of great interviews from a load of really interesting people over the series. And if you're on social media, which I'm sure loads of you are, we are on Instagram and Facebook, so give us a follow there.